All right. Welcome to the Nehemiah Business Lifecycle Podcast. My name is Patrice Tsague. I'm your host here today with a good friend of mine, Dave Blanchard. He's an expert at marketing. He's with an organization called Your CMO. CMO. So the C stands for what, David?
Chief
And then the M stands for
Marketing.
and then the O stands for officer, right? In other words, they're an outsourced marketing organization where they help you so that you don't have to worry about the fixed costs of having payroll and benefits of a marketing staff. So you have executive level marketing support who's in as much as they need to and out as much as you need to. It's just a neat model. It's like having an outsourced CFO. Some of you guys are familiar with that model. But this is an outsourced CMO, Chief Marketing Officer. And we're going to talk what David has done. He has taken the business life cycle, which the name of this podcast, which you're very familiar with. He's taken business life cycle, and he has flushed out a marketing process using that as a model. So that way, whether you are at discovery, whether you are at startup, break even, profitability, sustainability, succession, scalability, or succession, that you pretty much have a guided marketing process that you can follow. There's a series of blogs that are coming out that he'll be sharing this. He'll be speaking at our upcoming Connect meeting here in Portland, Oregon at the SOS Innovation Technology Center, and he'll also be pushed out virtually. He's also pushing this concept in various platforms around the nation, giving you a sense. So whatever stage you are in, this is a great podcast today to watch, because we're going to attempt to kind of have David kind of walk us through each stage to kind of give a few tips to you as to what you might do from a marketing perspective, which I think is great. I mean, David would really appreciate it. So, but before we go into our podcast, I want you to know who Dave is. He's been a member of our community going on almost 10 years now, right?
I think 2009 was when I took biblical entrepreneurship.
Wow, 2009. Wow, it's been that long.
Yeah.
And so here we are. You've been a consultant for us. You've helped us quite a bit. As a matter of fact, I learned marketing life cycle from you. I was a student of yours, and you've really taught us that. That's become a strong part of Nehemiah. And your son has gone through YBE, the Young Biblical Entrepreneur. You were a judge for the YBE class at Cornerstone, the Young Biblical Entrepreneurship. And you is that a client calling, needing you urgently?
That's my wife.
Oh yeah. Well, she's the most important client.
Exactly.
Wives that don't care what time it is, they get in touch with you. They take priority. Literally, sometimes I'm in a meeting, my wife will come and she'll stand right here, and I'll say, "I'm kind of, baby,
I tell her she's number one. So
she's number one, and they take that. My wife takes it literally. She is number one. Happy wife, happy life. So, her son went through the Young Biblical Entrepreneurship at Cornerstone, or at least went to Cornerstone because he was a judge. He's a good friend, and what I appreciate about David the most is that he leads with humility and grace. I've never met a man who's so insightful, doesn't lead with bravatos, just lead with humility and grace, with a lot of depth and insight. David, tell him a bit about you and your journey, how you got here, and how did marketing become your thing?
Yeah, sure. Well, I was first introduced to marketing. I was studying engineering management at Stanford, went through an interview with HP, Hewlett Packard, and indicated that I was interested in business. And the interviewer said, "Have you ever considered marketing?" I said, "What's marketing?" And he explained And I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. So I did that for a summer internship, and then that turned into a 26-year career at HP in marketing, in various different business units and various different leadership roles. And then I left HP in 2007, really with the inspiration of helping small businesses. I had a sense that small businesses needed to learn what I knew worked at HP in order to get big. Um, Small businesses adopt certain processes as they grow. And so I thought I could take what I learned in that environment and teach that, share that with small businesses. That was my inspiration. I helped over 300 small businesses apply the marketing lifecycle and marketing automation. Then I was hired as the first marketing leader in a startup company and found out that I could do that part-time. I could provide the leadership component part-time. Most of the work and the hours are done by the copywriters, the web designers, the person designing the trade show booth. They all need direction, they all need strategy, but I could provide that on a part-time basis. And I found that it was a really efficient model for clients. And so I thought in 2019, I decided I'd focus on that exclusively. And that's what I've been doing since. And I've had the opportunity to work for some great clients, a luxury dog hotel who's got a franchise. They've got over 50 locations. I started working with them when they had 13, and we really helped them to grow. So that's really my heart, is to help small businesses thrive. And what I want to do is take what I know and my talents and my abilities and help and apply that to a business and help them grow.
David, you know, normally when you think of a marketing guy, you think of somebody who's flashy, you know, kind of loud, a bit obnoxious, you know, uh, you know, uh, you know, measure once, don't measure at all, and just cut, you know, kind of just risk kind of thing. You don't have that persona. What is it about marketing that attracted you?
Well, you know, um, it was the combination of, it was really kind of a translation role. My personality is such that I have kind of one foot, I'm kind of a unique kind of guy. I'm kind of a nerdy,
Mm,
very technical. I have an engineering degree. I have that mindset, but I also like people.
mm,
And so I've always found myself in the career with one foot in the people canoe and one foot in the technology canoe, and being able
mm,
to translate between that. And so a lot of what marketing is really, it's really facilitating the value transfer between a client and a company. And in
mm,
order to do that, there needs to be it's almost like a translator or a diplomat, where the company needs to understand the customer, and the customer needs to understand what the company is offering in terms that are meaningful to the customer. So I've just found myself really good at that.
oh, that's good. That's good. You know, it's funny. Engineers, when they have a little bit of people orientation, they really make great entrepreneurs because they can bring the systematic, you know, kind of thing of engineering, the logic, the accuracy framework, which hedges risk, and then couple that with that human element, that innovation, creativity, and it really makes, I mean, you know, it really makes for great entrepreneurs, because they have the rigor and the discipline and the systematic process that really makes entrepreneur. At the end of the day, if a business is going to thrive and survive, it's got to have those elements. Don't you think so?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, business is innovation. If you're not
Yeah.
innovating, you're not growing. You're dying. The purpose of business is to innovate, to bring better things to the market. I mean, the entire evolution of our culture is based on technology, not in the sense of information technology, but any kind of technology, from
Yeah.
shovels to agriculture to all of that stuff is really driven our economy and our culture. And without innovation, none of that would happen. So that creativity is really important. At HP, we used to talk about imaginative understanding of user needs. So
Mm.
really what that is seeing what somebody needs and applying innovation or imaginative thinking to solving that problem in a new way. Because we wouldn't have 15 years ago, I wouldn't say I need a phone and that I can carry around in my pocket. But the people who invented the iPhone had an imaginative understanding of my need to communicate, to look up maps, to finding information all in a pocket, and they applied that innovation and that management to or imagination to that problem of
Yeah.
communication,
Yeah.
and invented that, and look where we are now.
As a matter of fact, I think Steve Jobs made the statement. He says, he had the thing against market research. He said,
Yeah,
entrepreneurs don't know what they need until I tell them. I mean, I'm sorry, not customers don't know what
there's
they need
no
until I tell them. This
absolutely, that's
idea,
true.
and there's another author, forgot his name. He wrote the book Corporate Life Cycle. He said the entrepreneur is the prophet of the marketplace.
Yeah,
Right. So this
yeah,
idea that we as entrepreneurs, we kind of imagine if an unrealized future
yeah,
and create products and services to meet that future, and we'll bring
exactly.
customers along. So customers think they thought about it. No, the entrepreneur,
No,
gave you something that you didn't even know you needed, and now you think you can't live without it.
can't live without it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. In fact,
Wow.
I've had experience. I've done a lot of market research over decades, and you can't ask customers what they need. You can't.
Yeah.
You can ask them to describe the problems that they have, and they know really well the problems that
Yeah.
they have, but they
Yeah.
can't, they don't have the imagination, that entrepreneurial spirit to say, I need an iPhone or I need AI or whatever
Yeah.
whatever the thing is.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love it. I'm talking to Dave Blanchard. Dave is with your CMO or your chief marketing officer. And he pretty much served as an outsourced chief marketing officer for mid to large size companies that want to improve their marketing while saving costs. And he's able to work with you all the way to even hiring a team to replace him. Very few consultants has as the objective to replace themselves, right? I mean, that's just not the best model for job security. So why is that a part of your process? Why is kind of success for you guys measured by not just growth and not just the ability to get new customers, but this idea that you can go all the way to actually replacing yourself?
Because it's what the client needs.
Mm.
I have the certain abilities to work with a certain size business, and with the luxury dog hotel was a great example of that. Where I worked with them for 3 years, they grew from 13 locations to 50, and then they
Mm.
hired a full-time chief marketing officer. And it
Mm.
was perfect. That was exactly the way it was supposed to work out. They were supposed to get big enough to the point where they could hire a full-time in that position. And, I'm not set up to work full-time, and they needed somebody who could put in more time than I can put in. And so once an organization gets to the point where they need more of that leadership focus and time, they get big enough, it's complex enough, they need more than I'm equipped to offer. It's a natural transition for me to step aside and for them to carry on. What we've tried to do in the meantime is build that muscle so that they can drive growth without us. So we're putting in the processes, the methodologies, the practices, the values, hiring the people that will create the team that will carry the business forward after we're done, after, let's say, a year or two.
Oh, that is so awesome. Well, Dave will be speaking for us at the Connect meeting on the fourth Saturday in April. That's specifically April. Your thing here, Victor, says April 25th. It's actually April
26th, I think.
26th. So you could change that. April 26th at 10 o'clock Pacific time. You can sign up by just going to Nehemiah eCommunity /events, and you go to seminar. So it's April 26th, not 25th, April 26th. and you are able to then join us there. David will be talking about this whole idea of marketing and how it ties into the life cycle. Dave, before we get into the substance of the content of your talk and this concept, let's talk a bit about the benefits of using an organization like UMCO. So, and who the ideal client might be. So, first, what is it? I know I described it. What is that? And somebody's watching and listening. Who's that ideal person? How do they recognize I'm the guy that really needs this? And talk a bit about that if you can.
Yeah, sure. So the ideal client that we like to work with is someone who is typically between $5 and $50 million in revenue, and they're growing and wanting to grow, They may have plateaued, or the ideal customer is on a high growth path, and they recognize that what got them there isn't what's going to get them to where they need to get to, and they need some additional marketing help and some expertise. So that $5 to $50 million is sort of the sweet spot. Once under 5, they really are sort of getting some of the basics put together. Over 50, they can afford a full-time person. But in that 5 to 50 is where they're kind of in the chicken and egg situation where they need the leadership, but they can't afford the leadership. And so that's the perfect kind of spot for a fractional CMO like myself to serve. We also do, for smaller companies, we have an advisory kind of service, which is a kind of a light version, where we just come in and help them put strategy together and then meet with them to keep on track. So we can reach down a little bit lower than that for people who don't need the full service. But the benefit is really threefold, I guess. One is it removes the burden of the day-to-day marketing focus from the owner of the business. The owner of the business, when they start the business, they're doing everything. In order to grow, they have to give some of that up, and they have to delegate. And so at the point where the owner of a business is starting to put a leadership team in place to delegate the different functional areas, finance, HR, operations, sales, marketing, to leaders that they can trust to manage that. That's really the ideal point. And it frees up the entrepreneur then to do the things that only entrepreneurs can do. We talked about innovation. We talked about creativity. We talked about, strategic partnerships, visioning, creating culture. Those are things that only the leader can do in an organization. And as the business grows, those need to consume all of their time, and they need to give up some of the functional day-to-day management. And so that's where someone like me comes in and really takes over the leadership of the marketing functional area, in coordination with others on the leadership team. I was working with a maid service, and we did some surveys to find out why people were leaving, and affordability was the big issue. And price of eggs is what the price of eggs is today. And so people are like, well, do I have eggs or do I have the maid? Well, I got to have the eggs. So you'd think of that as a operations issue. We need to drop costs. But as a marketer sitting in that leadership meeting, I said, well, wait a minute. We can focus our advertising on people with more money, for whom that budgeting isn't so tight, and they have more discretionary income. So by attracting a different customer, marketing can contribute to sort of solving that problem. So that's an important area of sort of that cross-functional collaboration at the leadership level that we bring.
Well, two questions for you. So many times businesses and entrepreneurs underestimate the value of investing in marketing, right? Yeah. Because many times entrepreneurs, when they start something, whatever, most cases, they're the number one seller of that whatever thing, right?
Yeah.
And so this idea of investing in person, system, and process that will scale that marketing, sometimes it's hard for them to understand the value of that. In other words, getting them psychologically to go from seeing marketing as an expense to seeing it as an investment.
Yeah.
So talk a bit about that and what you've seen, the challenge with that kind of concept, and how do you move now from seeing it as an investment? And if you do so, what's a rule of thumb that an entrepreneur can kind of consider as they now make that transition from an economic perspective? Is it a percentage of revenue?
Yeah.
Is it a certain, what does that look like?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. And there's a lot to that. Part of it is a lot of businesses either will plateau or will recognize that they will plateau. The forward thinkers will say, I know I'm going to plateau if I don't change something. Some people sort of have to learn by experience, and they get to a plateau and like, how do I scale past this? And that's where, you need to start thinking about marketing differently as a way to scale. Because I mean, when you start off, you're doing all the selling, but you've got so many hours in a day. You've got to find a force multiplier, or you won't scale. And so you need to be able to invest in the right marketing things. And a lot of this comes to, and this is where I see a lot of businesses fall down, is they don't know how to measure the effectiveness of their marketing, and they don't measure it. But it's really kind of the golden age of marketing, because you can measure almost anything now. And so you can measure how many people came to the website. Even there are ways to find out who they are and follow up with them. And so part of what we focus on is one of our key principles is putting a scorecard in place. And we measure. In fact, we are having a debate internally about what's the most important marketing metric, and we kind of agreed it's return on marketing investment. How much money do you get for the dollar you invest in marketing? You need to be able to measure that, and you need to be able to optimize that, and that requires certain systems to be able to do. Typically, I would say a business that wants to grow needs to be investing 10 to 20% of their revenues in marketing if they want to grow. If they don't want to grow, don't need marketing. But if you're on a growth path, or if that's your ambition, then that 10 to 20%. Now that means that if you flip that around, that means every dollar you spend needs to return $5 to $10 in revenue in order for that to work. And so each of your marketing campaigns should be evaluated against that. And we put systems in place so we can figure out which marketing campaigns are providing the best return, and we reallocate marketing spend from the ones that are less effective to the ones that are more effective. And that's how you actually build the return on marketing investment, is by pruning the things that are not relatively as profitable as others.
Oh, I love that. I love the frame you just gave us, because I talked earlier about entrepreneurs seeing as an expense versus an investment, which part of that is also the scarcity mentality and the fear of losing the fear of running out of money. But the framework you gave us gives a peaceful framework. So now I know that as I think through my budgeting process, 10 to 20% is what I'm going to allocate. That gives me a guardrail. So as I both raise capital and think revenue projection, that gives me a guardrail. Then what I also like you did beyond that, you said, okay, if you're going to put 10 to 20% aside of your revenue for marketing, but then you expect for every dollar spent $5 to $10 return. So now you've given me a way to measure ROI, so that now I'm able now to then, whether I'm working with Dave or anybody else, to say, okay, this is kind of what, and that gives me a great framework for me to kind of follow. So as a marketer, how concerned are you with this framework that 5 to 10 return, that return doesn't happen, and you find yourself where Dave, you said this and this was happening?
Yeah. Well, I was just going to add another thing, which is risk management, because marketing, I view it as a social experiment. So we don't control people. We don't control customers. I can't make them do anything that they don't want to do. All I can do is put a message in front of them that I think has a reasonable chance of getting a response, and I can measure that response. The first time you do that, it might not work. You might not get a 5 to 10 return on that investment. So you don't want to bet the farm on the first attempt. So this is risk management, right?
Sorry, my cat here, she likes to be part of the whatever we're doing. So
yeah, that's no problem. I love cats. So if you have, if you're a $5 million business and you're investing $500,000 in marketing, you don't want to put that all in one trade show. You don't want to put that all in SEO. You don't want to put that all. You want to have a portfolio of things you're investing in. And some of those are going to work better than others. Some of them might be complete failures. Some of them might be, but because, to me, marketing is learning, business is learning. Business is evolving. Things change all the time. Customers change, tastes change. And so you need to be always experimenting. So I really look at it as an experiment. So, I would say I can't, and this is a difficult thing to get across to an entrepreneur as a marketer, but I'm willing to put myself on the line and say, I'm going to produce this result for you. And if I can't, in 2 or 3 iterations, if I'm not making progress towards that kind of a return on investment, then I shouldn't be.
I love it. No, this is, as an entrepreneur, it is music to my ears. And I hope for many of our audience as well, because it gives a great framework. Boy, this is so good. This is why you've got to come to this Connect meeting on April. They still have the 25th there. It's actually April 26th. The 26th. 26th. Yeah. Guys, you got the wrong date there. April the 26th. If you want to sign up for it, go to nehemiahecommunity.com/event. Look for Connect meeting, and then you can join us there. It's either free if you're a paid member of the community, or only $25 if you are not. So let's kind of shift a little bit for the rest of our time, a few minutes, to kind of this idea of this life cycle discussion. So what was it about the life cycle, business life cycle, Dave, that made you like, this could be a good framework to wrap marketing around?
Well, I think like many things in business, there are certain patterns that repeat that sort of show up everywhere. And the business life cycle is one of those things. I've seen it. I mean, Nehemiah has their sort of framework that they've put forward, that you've put forward, and I've seen it in different places described in different ways. But it's like gravity. It's a phenomenon of nature, and so it really intrigued me to start thinking about, okay, well, as a business evolves, marketing needs to evolve, and so it really kind of challenged me to think about how does marketing evolve as a business evolve, because you need different things from marketing at different stages, and that can help you with strategic planning. It can help you, think ahead and set expectations correctly and things like that. So I guess the thing that sort of immediately struck me from a selfish standpoint is I have, I'm looking to serve a particular kind of customer at a particular kind of stage. And it really is that scalability stage where the services that I offer are the most valuable. And so, it really, it was provided a way for me to sort of help my prospects and clients kind of understand, where do I fit in their business? Where do I, where do they need someone else? Where do I fit in? Where does some other approach work? So it was a really helpful framework, I found.
Oh, I love it. And David did a series of blogs around this process. If you're not getting our blogs and our newsletter, you want to go to Nehemiah Community and sign up for it so you can start getting those. And he'll be teaching this at the upcoming Connect meeting on April the 26th. You can go register now if you've not yet done so. There's still space available for it. So, Dave, by the way, if you've not taken the life cycle class and you want to take that, you can also go to nehemiahecommunity.com and go to the life cycle class. You can enroll in that and go through it yourself. It'll be even ideal if you can go through it right before you take this particular seminar. Dave, so I'm going to do a little test, and I'm going to see how on your game you are. I'm going to go through each stage, have you give, if you had to give one tip to that person in that stage, what a marketing tip, what would that be? Okay, so I'm going to see how ready David is. So are you ready for me? Can we do this?
I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right,
Yep.
so Dave, I'm in discovery. So I'm
Yep.
thinking about a business idea, not yet launched. I'm considering going to business. What's the one marketing tip you would give me?
Yeah, I'm going to give you two. One is choosing your ideal customer and developing a unique selling proposition or a unique value proposition. The reason that's important is because you have to know who you're selling to. You don't have the resources to sell to everyone. If you're going to sell to, if you're going to go and network in an industry association, you have to pick. I did a Google search the other day on how many industry associations are there in Portland. There are hundreds. I can't go to hundreds of them. I have to pick one.
Good.
So because I have limited resources, I have to choose my ideal customer wisely.
That is so good. Guys, take notes. Look, remember this. I'm sorry, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah. Well, and people, this is counterintuitive, and people resist this like anything. They don't want it because they think they're giving something up.
Yeah.
They think they're giving up opportunity if they focus. And it's the hardest thing. Everything in your being says, don't do it. Don't do it. You know,
because I'm geared towards, I want it all, you know,
Yeah,
this
exactly.
seems limiting while this seems right. It is kind of intuitive. So David, you convinced me. I did what you just told me to do. Now I'm at a startup. I'm ready to make some money. I'm ready to go into active revenue. Startup, we define that as when you have active revenue. So Dave, what tip would you give me? I'm at a startup phase.
Yeah. So I would say developing your strong brand identity. So who are you and what do you stand for as a business? Who do you want to attract? What are the values that you have? How do you set yourself apart in the marketplace? I mentioned earlier your unique selling proposition. People need to have a reason to choose you. And the brand really is built around that reason. I mentioned the luxury dog hotel. We interviewed customers, and it's actually quite simple. If you ask customers why they buy from you, that's your unique selling proposition. People get hung up in this thing. I have great customer service, or I have this or that thing. Ask your customer. They made a decision. Ask them why, and they will tell you. And for the dog hotel, it was the staff loves my dog. The facilities are immaculate, and then my dog comes home happy and tired.
I like happy and tired. I like that.
And so we built an entire all of our marketing communication was built around those three pillars, and we actually patented little logos around those things. And if you go into any one of their facilities, there's a plaque on the wall that talks about the university where they train their staff, the experience where the dog is happy, and the clean facilities. And
oh wow.
And so it becomes and no one else duplicates that, because they do a great job of that. So that developing your brand and unique selling proposition would be
This is so good. David, I applaud what you taught me, and now it got me to break even. So I'm a break even. What do you advise me to do?
Yeah, so this is a point where you start building your team and building your processes. So in order to really dial in your marketing, you want to start systematizing. You want to start delegating. You want to bring in people who can help you expand your reach, so that you can get to that profitability stage.
Oh wow, David, I've done it. Now I'm at profitability, and boy, it's working, man. And so, what advice would you give me? How do I go from here to sustainability?
Well, this is where you need to step out of the marketing role. And that's probably one of the key things, is you need to delegate marketing to someone else, because sustainability is I can leave my business for 90 days and it doesn't fall apart. That means you have to have somebody that you trust in that marketing leadership role, and a marketing team to support them, that can drive growth, drive business, drive new business while you take a vacation. So
Isn't that nice?
Yeah,
That's almost sound like passive income.
that's the idea, right?
Yep. And that's key because entrepreneurs, you're not creating a job for yourself. You're creating an economic engine that makes an impact that can go on without you. So, David, I did what you told me to do. I got a great team. They're humming. Now I'm at sustainability. How do I scale, David?
So now you're going to start to look to other markets, other segments, other cities, other regions. You're going to take what you've done and you're going to replicate it. You've developed a business model, you've developed a marketing model, you developed a team, you developed processes. Now it's cut and paste. It can either be a franchise model or it can be a multi-site business. Or if you're in manufacturing, you could be opening up a new channel to a different country. So you're looking to take what you've done and replicate it in another segment, another market, another region.
Oh, that's so good. David, I've done what you taught me, and now I'm at succession and exit. Is marketing still important for me as I'm thinking about exiting the business?
Oh, yeah. There are certain things that affect the value of the business that marketing can directly address. One of those things is the profitability of, so you're going to look for a buyer. The buyer's going to look at what's your earnings before interest and taxes. And they're going to, so you're going to want to look at profitability of a customer. Different customers are different. They differ in their profitability. And so you want to be pruning the ones that are not profitable or less profitable and nurturing the ones that are spending more, making more referrals, spending higher, maybe have a higher dollar of what they're spending, buying the high profit products. The other thing is you want a diversity of customers. A buyer looks at a company and says, oh, you've got 3 customers. If one of them goes away, what happens to the value of my investment? You want a broad customer base. And so marketing can help broaden the customer base. So really it's looking at, what are the factors? And then the other thing is, if you haven't completely extracted yourself from the marketing function and from driving the business, if this is a problem that a lot of people have when they go to sell their business, is that when they take themselves out of it, the value goes with them. And so the buyer says, you're the rainmaker. If you leave, what am I buying? And so
that's good.
So that's where you really have to dial in your processes, your team, so that you've got something that's solid that can drive business growth, that the new owner can step in and it'll continue to drive that growth.
You have mastered this. This is so good. I mean, in less than 15 minutes, we've given folks an NBA lesson on how to move their business from one stage to the next, using marketing. Guys, it gets better. Think about this in 45 minutes to an hour. Come to the Connect meeting on April the 26th. Go to our website, nehemiahecommunity.com/events, and sign up for this and come. They're with in person, and we're going to go deeper in this. He'll teach, and then we'll have Q&A discussion to really help you walk out of there with some insight and some tips. And by the way, if you're saying, man, this guy's good, I want to connect with him. I don't want to wait. I want to find out how he can help me where I am in getting my business. Do you have a website? How do they connect with you if they want to know more and kind of help you? Have you help them in their process?
The best way to connect with me is through via email, dave@yourcmo.com. And I'm happy to have a conversation with them about where are they in their business life cycle? Where does the marketing focus need to be? And what's their staffing plan? Because should your next hire be the first assistant to help with a website? Or should your next hire be a marketing manager? Or should your next hire be a fractional chief marketing officer? Or should your next hire be a full-time CMO and filling out that team? Marketing resources also include agencies outside the organization. Do you have the right agencies to drive growth? I know I work with agencies all the time. I know good ones. I know bad ones. I won't recommend the bad ones, but that's another place where we really help, is that a lot of agencies, and this is, a point of shame for me as a marketer, but they will take money from clients and produce no results.
Yeah.
And so getting clients hooked up with agencies who are results oriented can make a huge difference.
Oh, I love it. Dave at yourcmo.com. Connect with him directly. What I appreciate about the offer he's given is that whatever stage you are in, he can give you insights, walk with you, and kind of give you tips as to where to go next. I would take advantage of that offer just to connect with him with Dave at yourcmo.com. Dave, before you leave, I want you to give one last word of advice, if you don't mind. But before we do that, let me speak to our audience. Listen, Dave's going to give us one last insight. Please don't go anywhere. But if you enjoyed this podcast, I want to encourage you to do something for me. I want you to share it. Listen, friends share with friends. Share it. Share it with those who you know entrepreneurs, people even on your team that you're saying, wow, we can do better with our marketing. We need to, based on what stage we are in, we need to share with them. That insight can be helpful. Right? You might know organizations or even your own organization says, I can use a fractional CMO. Connect with Dave and he can walk you through that process. So share this on your Twitter, share this on your YouTube, share this on your Facebook or your LinkedIn. And also follow us. All right. Like us. That's the one way you can tell us how much you appreciate what we've done for you today. If you want to know more about how we as Nehemiah can come alongside you and help you with your business, or help you to be a part of a community of entrepreneurs that are committed to building kingdom companies, you can visit our website, nehemiahecommunity.com. There you can learn about our training program, whether it's biblical entrepreneurship, serve with love, identity and destiny, or even the young biblical entrepreneur. You have that there. All our classes are self-paced with a live experience. And the live experience, by the way, is free. You take it fully self-paced from beginning to end. But we have free live experience you can be a part of. That's no other cost to you. Whenever you have them, just sign up and it's done. You can learn about our coaching program, whether it's one-on-one or whether it's group coaching. We just had a group coaching yesterday with a group of Kenyan entrepreneurs called BSA Business Accelerator. Amazing, right? So do you need that one-on-one? Do you need a group or do you need both? We have coaches that can help you. We believe that every entrepreneur needs a coach. Bill Gates has a coach, right? A number of entrepreneurs who succeed have a coach, and coaches need coaches. We coaches have coaches. And then if you want to learn more about how to become a member of our community, you can learn from there as well. You see their community. You can connect, become a member, join us. We have close to 5,000 entrepreneurs from Asia, from Africa, from Latin America, from Europe, at different stages of development where we can work together to build kingdom companies. We also are able to help you connect with investors who can help you grow your business or can help come alongside and encourage you. We also have amazing events that you can be a part of, whether it's the Connect meeting on April 26th, right here in Portland, Oregon, or virtually, or our monthly seminars that's online you can be a part of, or Nehemiah Week, now Nehemiah Summer, we're calling it, our annual virtual conference that's global that you can participate for 3 days from where you are, or you can join us live physical. We're going to be in Orlando in the week of May 7th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and 9th. We're going to be in Orlando. The Kenyan entrepreneurs will be there. From Congo will be there. From Mexico, they'll be there. And all of us are going to be there. And we're going to have a tour. We're going to have a Connect meeting with the Orlando Center. We're going to have a all-day conference where we'll learn through the life cycle, hearing from different entrepreneurs, different stages. And we're going to have an impact brunch. If you want to join us, you can sign up today. There are some special early bird specials going on. Join us in Orlando physically. We'll be there, close to 100 of us. We're going to be there as we seek to build community and take our businesses to the next level. With that said, Dave, so, somebody's watching and listening right now, and giving the tariff situation, giving the market situation, giving, all the things, the geopolitical things that are happening that is affecting business. they are concerned. They're seeing themselves costs increasing. They may even see themselves, their customers slow to, to engage. So in the moment like this of uncertainty, policy shift, turbulence, where does marketing fit? What advice would you give me in this kind of space? What can or should I do to make sure that I that my business thrive amidst of all this uncertainty?
Yeah, I would actually go back to one of the things we touched on earlier, which is look at marketing as an investment and make sure you're investing enough in marketing to grow your business. Downtimes are the best opportunities to invest in marketing. The people who invest in marketing during the downtime, and I'm not just saying this to be self-serving, it's true. People who invest in marketing during the downtimes are prepared to grow quickly when times turn around. People who cut back on marketing, you can't cut your way to growth. It's impossible. And so again, look at marketing as an investment. If you don't know how to measure the investment, if you don't know where to invest, find an expert. There's so many people out there that know how to do this. Find somebody that can help you figure that out.
What a good advice. Downtime are the best moment to invest in marketing, right? It's kind of like when the stocks are down, it's time to buy. Exactly. Because it will go up, right? And you'll ride away with it. David, thank you so much, brother. See you on April the 26th.
Thank you.
What insightful. We're looking forward to your blogs. If you don't get our newsletter, guys, sign up. These blogs are going to be coming soon. And we're looking forward, brother, to being blessed by you as you help us navigate this process. This was so good. I'm going to have my coaches listen to this. This is just incredible. With that said, guys, let me pray for you. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord enable you to steward those talents that are under your care and steward them in such a way that one day you can hear those wonderful words, well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a few things. Guess what? He'll make you rule over much. God bless you. Thanks for watching and listening. Dave, thank you so much, man. God bless.
Thank you.
All right.